Mic check 1 2 3 3 2 1. Welcome back to another episode of We Don't Miss. It's been a while since I talked to you guys. 4 months since the last video. What have I been doing? I've been doing what I hope all of you guys and girls are doing. Following your dreams, crushing it, getting the job that you love, getting your bank account fat, being happy with your family, being happy with your fitness, just being all around happy with mind, body, and soul, which is the trifecta. Today I went on a hike and shot an Instagram video, and as you know, those are kind of short. And I just thought to myself, I got to get this information out in a longer format. And the topic that I was contemplating was speaking your truth. I've heard this saying a lot before. I've seen it on t-shirts. I've seen it on bumper stickers. I've seen speak your truth. And initially I thought that the saying was from a negative point of view, meaning speak your truth as in F what everybody else says, who cares what anybody else says, live your own life, say what you want to say, i.e. speak your own truth. And I think I had a more profound understanding of what that actually means today when I was thinking about another topic, which is the toxicity of people passing on information from social media without going through three crucial steps that I want to explain. Those three crucial steps, starting from point A to point B, point A being, well, it's really A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and as far on as we can go, because the topic of conversation is critical thinking and understanding a topic. Step A would be a lack of understanding of an issue. And that could be any of the issues that we see in the media, politics, government, the border / immigration, foreign policy, domestic policy, all those things. And it's really easy this day and age, since both sides are so pitted against each other, to lump all of those topics into one thought process and say, I am this or I am that. And I'm specifically thinking of, I am Democrat, I am Republican. And this isn't going to be about politics, so have no fear. But that simple mindset has somehow permeated other thought processes, all thought processes of individuals, where everything becomes black and white. And I do not believe in this. I believe that everything exists on a spectrum. And if you're way pegged on one side or the other, then you're probably in the wrong spot, because the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Because real truth is the collective ideas of many. And the collective ideas of many is not going to be so black and white. And usually out of the collective ideas of many comes the ultimate truth or solution or way forward, which therefore proves that since all these people's ideas exist somewhere on a spectrum, that being pegged on one side or the other is never really the right side to be. Now, here's a situation that we're in. We're in a situation where every scientist, every psychologist, every person that's in tech, in AI, has come out in some shape or fashion and told us unequivocally, they've made documentaries about it, about how social media, in many ways, is not good for us. Not good for our mental health, not good for our cognitive growth, it's not good for the best way to spend our time. Now, I'm not here to smash social media, because I always find it ironic that people that make a platform bashing social media are doing that on social media, hoping they can monetize it, which is a paradox or a cliche in itself. But what I am saying is, like all things I believe in life, is once you gather that information and once you gather that data, you now have to interpret it. You have to understand it. You have to be knowledgeable about it. So the three things that I mentioned earlier that I don't believe people are doing anymore is people aren't, one, understanding they're at step A, which is a lack of understanding, then moving to step B, which is gaining the knowledge and the data and the resources to gain perspective or a viewpoint on said issue, going in without any biases or preconceived notion, and then taking all that data and exploring it and coming to an understanding of what it all means. So the trap that so many people are falling into these days, especially the youth, I'm talking teenagers, young 20s, is they feel that they have a hack in place, a hack to be knowledgeable, a hack to appear smart. And that hack is to listen to podcasts or listen to YouTube videos and then enter a public space like their friend's house, a party, a bar, a restaurant, a family get together. And when an issue comes up, instead of them speaking from their own mind, speaking their own truth and articulating their own feelings, all they're doing is repeating sound bites of influencers or news broadcasters or podcasters as if it's the truth. And in doing that, what occurs is that individual, and I'm guilty of this, I've caught myself doing this before, and the only way you can really get caught, I'll explain in a minute. What happens is you are repeating what somebody else is saying because you follow them, and you're repeating it because either most of the things they say you agree with, which is fine and truthful, that's why you follow people. You're saying it because they have 5 million followers, so you're thinking, well, if they have 5 million, then a lot of people must feel the same way, so I need to feel this way. Or the worst possible thing that can happen, which is where the youth gets caught up, is it's a popularity contest. So it's whatever the masses think, whatever group think says at the time for that day, week, month, or year is the right side of the issue to be on. They will side with that issue by following people that side with that issue and then reciting things that individual says. And let's not even talk about whether it's true or not. Let's just talk about, how tragic that is. People that do that, what they're missing out on is one of the greatest things that human beings are blessed with, which is the ability to think and the ability to reason and the ability to decide and the ability to decision make. And you are unable to make decisions for yourself and have a real valid opinion for yourself and speak your truth unless you have gone through the previously mentioned steps of understanding your weaknesses and exploiting them by exploring the thought process and the data of both sides of the situation, the topic, the argument, whatever you want to call it. And through that learning process, which could take years, it could even take a lifetime. Ladies and gentlemen, there are people, PhD professors, scientists that have spent their entire life searching for answers on one very, very specific niche topic. And rarely do they ever even find the ultimate answer. They just find bits and pieces. They find breadcrumbs left over by the people that have thought about it before them. Then they extract new data and new knowledge about what's happening in present time. And then they pass that on to the future in the hopes that somebody can figure it out. And what I'm kind of thinking about in my head right now is cancer research, because we haven't figured that out yet, which is, I don't know how we haven't figured that out yet. I'm not blaming anybody, because God knows I can't figure it out, but it's just something that I hope in the future we can figure out, like I think all people hope. But when you skip out on those steps, you skip out on one large thing, which is the most important thing. You finding out who you are. You finding out who you are. Because reciting somebody else's opinion on a topic makes you nothing else, nothing other than a puppet. Think of the word influencer. We all know what an influencer is, so what's the opposite of an influencer? It is the influenced. And it's okay to be influenced in certain ways. It's very good to be influenced in a lot of ways. There's some great people out there and great mentors and people, as long as people have been on this planet, that people aspire to be, because they command greatness out of people and they make people take it to the next level. And that's amazing. So it's okay to be influenced. What's not okay is to live an entire life of being influenced and think that because you're repeating what somebody else said, who did the work and did the research and went through the process and questioned their morals and questioned their values and their ideals and everything that they believed in, to come to the conclusion that either everything that they thought was backed up by data and they were right, or possibly that everything they thought was completely wrong. And they went through a transformative experience, and through that experience, they became the individual who they are, and therefore they know thyself. They know who they are. And I think that is one of the biggest issues right now that is driving this mental health crisis, with anxiety and depression and loneliness and suicide, is people don't know what they stand for. And the scary thing is they don't know what they stand for because they think what they stand for is the things that they're saying, that they're repeating from other people. And they, me, you, might wholeheartedly believe what you're saying is true because you feel it in your gut. But at the same time that we have access to so much information and we're more connected than we've ever been, you think that that would collectively make us more knowledgeable about ourselves, and we would have better insight and intuition into who we are. So when we walk out our front door every day, we have firm footing underneath us and strong morals and values and ideals and a compass, if you will, to guide us through life without us feeling alone. But what we find, or what I believe, and maybe somebody has said this before me that's way smarter than me, has probably happened. What I think is that people have gotten caught in the social media trap of, hey, this is a shortcut to looking smart, to being knowledgeable, is that I can throw out all these quick sound bites of what other people that are more well studied, more well versed in this issue than me. And if I just repeat what they say, then therefore that makes me smart, which couldn't be farther from the truth. Because what it does is it makes you feel more alone, more isolated, and less confident, and less sure-footed footed. And let me give you an example that everybody can relate to right now. There's so many tumultuous topics being discussed, and with these topics being discussed, they're coming out of the mouths of tumultuous, possibly even, I don't want to go that far as to say violent, but people that get really aggressive if you don't believe what they believe in. And it's led a lot of people to close off and not discuss topics that they're not sure that they know a lot about. But they will, however, jump in on a topic if they just listen to one of the dozen very popular and influential social media people out there right now. And they'll be like, oh, I can speak on this topic because if Joe Rogan said it or Jordan Peterson said it or whoever said it, then I can say it. And if stuff goes wrong, well, I can say, hey, well, I was just really repeating what they said. And then everybody will be fine with it because it's like, oh, well, they're big time influencers. So, okay, I see where you're coming from. That is no way to live. I believe in positive social discourse, even if the views are completely opposite. I welcome it. I actually welcome it so much because I spent so much of my life in the military defending free speech and people's ability to think and express themselves, that if somebody has a completely different opinion than me, if they're a mature human being and a mature adult, then they can sit across the table from me and we can agree to disagree all day long. But at the end of the day, we can agree on that we're people and we really want the same thing for everybody. You know, we want less war, less violence, less conflict. We want our kids to be raised in a safe environment. We want to be in a safe environment. We want the ability to live the American dream, to put a couple dollars in our pocket, to possibly buy a house one day, to go on a vacation, to experience happiness, joy, love, friendship. And you can experience all those things with somebody that you disagree with, as long as you understand that we all should agree on those fundamentals. So, in conclusion, I would challenge you to challenge yourself. I was about to say challenge other people, but that might be a step too far because you don't want to get into other people's business. You just really need to focus on you. But make sure when you go into a conversation that is going to be a difficult conversation, one, survey the landscape. If you're having a discussion, for instance, about abortion and you're at a bar and everybody's shit-faced, probably not the best idea to give your opinion, even if you think the people around you are in complete solidarity and they're going to agree with you. It's just not the right time and the right place. They call that six-pack politics. It's never good. So survey the audience, survey the people, and ask yourself, are these people really trying to discuss this issue, or are we trying to get in just some heated debate that's going to have no end? Because when it comes to those kind of conversations, I just sit back and I listen. I just choose not to participate because there's no purpose. Now, if you're with a group of people who are trying to have an interesting discussion and actually speak their truth, and they ask you your opinion, this is my challenge to you, because this is what I see happening far too often right now, is personal censorship. People are censoring themselves because they're too scared to say what they believe because they're afraid of what people might think of them or say to them. And let me tell you this, if you're having a discussion with somebody about a topic that has something to do that you're not close to, and I'm once again kind of talking about politics here, nobody at a table in a bar or a coffee shop is going to solve immigration. So if you're talking to somebody and they just completely dismiss you and don't want to be your friend, and actually, I don't like you, like a child because of your views on immigration, that person shouldn't be your friend anyway. That is not a critical thinking adult. It's just not. Like, just get rid of that person. Now, if you're talking to an individual about immigration and you have completely opposing views, take this into account. You have strong opinions, or maybe they're weak. Doesn't matter. They have opinions too. So just listen to what they say, if they listen to what you say, and you'll have a great discussion. And you could possibly learn something from them, something that could put you somewhere else on that spectrum. It might not move you all the way to the other side, but it might move you somewhere. And this, ladies and gentlemen, the whole purpose of this video is telling people to please, please stop. Stop going into situations with people where you know that when you speak your truth, that you are not going to be accepted or valued. If you are in a space like that, that is not the space you want to be in the first place. We all need to be in a space and learn to be in a space where we can speak our truth, speak with knowledge, learning, data, and understanding, even if we're not a PhD in the issue. But speak to a degree where you're well spoken and can back up the way that you feel, and then just leave your cards on the table and let it go. There's no reason to try and change anybody's mind. That's another thing I see a lot of people doing is like they're already all ramped up in a conversation to try and change your mind. Don't try and change anybody's mind. People's mind will change if you understand a topic better than them. It's as simple as that. Because if you can cut them off at every corner, and I don't mean that in an aggressive way, cut them off. I'm just saying bring back other data to support your side of the argument, then it's kind of a no-brainer when you get to that point. Now, there are topics out there that are all opinion-based, and you're never going to get to an end, and those are just kind of conversations we have. But I'll close with this. I've definitely changed my mind of speaking your truth from meaning speak out about something and speak as if you're speaking against something or in favor of something in an aggressive manner to try and get to change somebody's mind. And now I think speak your truth means that you can sit back all night long watching people debate back and forth. And when somebody looks at you, because you haven't said anything in a while, and they go, "What do you think?" You can open your mouth feeling confident and assured that you know what the fuck you're talking about. See you on the next episode.